management, or other sponsors. It's time for The Edge broadcast with your host, Daniel Ott. You can join Daniel and his guest as we discover the truth together. Within the continental U.S., call toll-free 1-800-996-9638 or click on the Fast Blast link on the Edge broadcast website. That's toll-free 1-800-996-9638 or click on the Fast Blast link on the Edge broadcast website. You can find out about our guests and topics by logging on to the Edge's website, theedgeam.com. That's theedgeam.com. And now here's your host for the Edge broadcast. Here's Daniel Ott.
Zen Garcia.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, welcome to the Edge television broadcast.
Glad to be here. I'm honored. Pleasure to be here.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to be talking about Lucifer, the father of Cain, and I think that is a topic that we really haven't talked about here. I mean, it actually comes up in various shows, and so tonight we're going to hone in on that. We're going to find out, for one thing, Zen, before I get going here, I see you have a number of books here, but why is the Lucifer person, I'm not sure if he's an entity or what, we're going to discuss that, but whatever he is, what did it interest you to cause you to write a book about it?
Well, I didn't at first begin with the intent of writing a book. I acquired a disability when I was 24 years old, and ever since that time, I went. Well, even before then, I was already on a spiritual quest, but I then had more time to focus on studying and doing research, and so I then took the time and had the time, unlike most people, to study Scripture and just read a bunch of different things that I had never even heard about. And I was really fresh to Scripture because I had not grown up in the church, and I didn't attend Sunday school every Sunday, and I had no familiarity with the Word, even though I had been on a spiritual quest since being young and wanted to know who the Creator was. I had no idea that I would end up writing a book about this subject. It just came out in all of the different things that I read, and it kept presenting itself to me, and then I realized that not many people saw it the same way, and for me, it became the skeleton key to unlock the totality of Scripture, because there is a underlying truth behind Lucifer being the father of Cain. I mean, just common sense tells you that why would Cain kill his brother if he had just an innocent, good nature from both Adam and Eve, who knew no evil, but it kept presenting itself.
Hold on. Let me just clarify a couple things here real quick, though. But that you wanted to write a book about it because you felt like there wasn't enough information out there? Right,
and most people did not see it that way, and for me, it was the skeleton key to unlock the truth behind the Scriptures, because if you don't understand the beginning, it's hard to understand where we are now and where we're going in the future. Right. You've got to have a foundation to build on to understand what's coming, and it takes dedication and it takes time. Like, the Scriptures say, "Seek and you shall find; knock and the door shall be open," and it really, really works that way. The more effort you put forth, the more your intent is on seeking the kingdom, the more answers come to you, and discernment is granted to you almost. And I'm not saying I'm privileged or that I have something that everybody else can't get. I don't know why that I've come upon this particular piece of knowledge, but it is something that I felt pressed to share with others, because most people, when they read any Scripture, whether it's the Old Testament, New Testament, they don't know how to put it together, and they don't understand how it fits in with all the other things that are out there. And I'm talking about the Judeo-Christian, the Apocrypha, the Pseudepigrapha, the Nag Hammadi Codices, the recent released Colburn Bible, all these different wisdom books that come from the Judeo-Christian tradition. And if you understand the beginning and understand about Cain and how Cain was separated from Adam's line in Genesis 4 and 5, and why in the New Testament the Lord kept saying that the Pharisees and the Sadducees were of the generation of the viper and of the father, the devil.
Okay.
He was tying these Illuminati bloodlines that are with us now, and this evil serpent seed presence that is on the planet that is pushing the New World Order agenda, the world government agenda. It goes back to Cain, and most people can't connect it that way.
Okay, all right. And Zen, now, are you a paraplegic? Are you? I see you're.
I'm a quadriplegic, actually.
Quadriplegic, okay. And what happened there?
I was in California, going to a school called the Heartwood Institute of Healing up in the Garberville in the mountains of up by the Redwoods, and I was hitchhiking to San Francisco. The van that we got a ride in lost its brakes on a mountain road, and we went off a cliff.
Wow. And
dropped 85 feet, and I broke my neck on impact. And ever since September 24th of '94, I've had a whole different kind of life and time and space to do things that most people don't have the blessings, the time to do. Most people are just busy surviving and trying to keep it all together with the kids, family, wives, the American dream, the house, 2 cars, that kind of thing.
All right. Well, it's an honor to have you on the program, too. It also says you're a columnist with the Populist Party of America. What's that?
Yeah, the Populist Party of America, well, I think they've since changed their name. Their website is no longer up and available, but there were several authors like Doug Rockey and Harry Brown. He was a columnist there, but we were just writing. I was writing specifically about like 9/11 and New Orleans and the bombing of the Lower Ninth Ward. I wrote about depleted uranium to warn the troops. I wrote about William Rodriguez and how he survived and his whole accounting of 9/11, and just to wake people up. I wrote about how George Bush and Dick Cheney and all of them, and even Obama, how they're blood related, and and how all the elections are just a dog and pony show. Different things like that.
All right. Now, Zen, we have numbers of questions coming in on these questions. It sounds like you've got a lot to say pretty much on every question, but if you try to keep them a little bit shorter so that a lot of people can get their questions asked, and I won't have to interrupt you so many times with that. Now, also, if you've ever watched The Edge, you should expect you're probably going to get questions that you might consider off-topic or irrelevant or facetious, but you just got to roll with it, man, because this is The Edge, okay? It's part of the program.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not like straight edge over here, okay? And so let's this is not one of them. This is actually a real question here. This is from the live chat, Zen. What was the mark of God given to Cain when he was banished?
I'm not necessarily sure. That hasn't come up in my research, and I've read a lot of scripture, but I've never really come up on that, so I can't really say.
Okay. All righty, and we'll go to this question here. Do you believe there was a pre-existing civilization before Adam and Eve?
Absolutely. The fallen angels were banished out of the heavens on the second day, according to the book of the Secrets of Enoch, and modern humans weren't created till the sixth day, and so there's a time and a span in between where the fallen angels were already roaming and creating civilizations and megalithic structures.
And as I talked to you this earlier, you were talking about the megalithic structures. Is the pyramid considered one of those?
I've heard, and I don't know for sure, that Enoch has something to do with that, but I don't know for sure. I just know that a lot of megalithic structures were created to by the fallen angels to monitor the stars and to read the signs in the heavens.